Across the country, public education is failing. But in Arizona, lawmakers have found the solution to the biggest problem facing their schools.
Arizona's Governor Jan Brewer just approved a bill banning ethnic studies classes in public schools.
And using this new law, the Tucson School Board banned the K-12 Mexican American Studies program. School Board member Michael Hicks.
My concern was a lot of the radical ideas that they were teaching in these classes, telling these kids that this is their land, the whites took it over, and the only way to get out from beneath the gringo, which is the white man, is by bloodshed.
When you sat in on these classes, what types of...
I chose not to go to any of their classes. Why even go? Why even go? I base my thoughts on hearsay from others, so I based it off of those.
With powerful evidence like hearsay, the Tucson School Board had little choice but to end the Mexican American Studies program, protecting kids from dangerous teachers like Curtis Kosta.
Our students are much more likely to graduate and go to college. Their test scores have improved. And most of all, they're excited about education so they can pursue it in their future lives.
And you do that by teaching them to hate white people.
We don't teach them to hate white people. What we're trying to do is provide a more complex version of what has happened in our past so that our students are engaged and they can ask themselves critical questions and build their own understanding.
Critical thinking, more like critical brainwashing. And it gets worse.
They would, every week, go out and buy burritos and feed these kids.
What?
Yeah. What that does is it builds a more of a bond between the teacher and the students.
Sure, I'm loyal to this guy because
Right.
he bought me burritos.
Right.
You slip your burritos to kids, don't you?
Why would be giving food to our youth be something that frowned upon?
When the program goes away, the burritos go away. That's why these kids are upset. No mas burritos.
It's pretty offensive.
And now that they've eradicated Mexican American Studies from the schools, they can focus on other ethnicities.
Honestly, this law won't be applied to any other of our courses. It was strictly written for one course, which is the Mexican American Studies program. And nobody has complained about any of the Pan-Asian or any of the other courses that are being taught.
What about the African American Studies program?
The African American Studies program is still there. It's not teaching the resentment of a race or class of people.
I'm a black kid. Try to teach me about slavery without me feeling resentment towards white people.
How am I going to teach you about slavery? Slavery was...
How did I end up here?
Slavery was Okay, now I got to figure out how. Okay, the white man did bring over the Africans.
And what kind of jobs did we do?
The jobs that you guys did was basically slavery jobs.
So after we were freed, we got to vote?
Yes. You didn't get to vote until later.
And we were equal?
Almost equal.
What, we were like sort of a half or 3/5?
My personal perception of it, I would say you're probably a quarter.
The more he taught me about black history, the more I realized Arizona has figured out the right way to teach it.
We now have a black man as a president. You know, Rosa Clark did not take out a gun and go onto a bus and hold up everybody.
Sadly, the peaceful lessons of Rosa Clark are lost on the radical reactionaries teaching Mexican American Studies.
I think this is a great country. In some countries, I might be actually locked up for teaching the way I have. And well, in this country, I'm just banned from doing it.
You're very close to getting locked up.
Until then, Arizona's children can count on professional educators like Michael Hicks to protect them.
Do you think it'll be okay for the school district to have a Mexican American Studies program when the district is 100% Latino?
No.
But at that point, there'll be no white people left.
Well, if there's no more white people in the world, then okay, then you can do what you want.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Hicks. We will. We will.
question. Are you white? If so, last Friday's dismal May unemployment figures were bad, but not minority bad.
The persistent unemployment you have in the black community, 14% compared to whites, which is 7%. Latino community, 11% unemployment to whites, 7%.
Wow. Double-digit unemployment for blacks and Latinos. That could really hurt Obama's chances amongst, well, just the Latinos. I mean, let's be frank. For more on this, we turn to senior Latino economic analyst, Al Madrigal. Al, thanks for joining us. Al, does 11% in the Latino community put the Latino community in play for this election?
I mean, it may, but even 11% pales in comparison to the 98.7% unemployment Latinos face elsewhere.
Well, 98, where?
Right here, John. Show business. Televisiones.
You're Latino, and you have a job in show business.
Yes, I have the job, John. Do me a favor, try to name one other Latino on television.
Oh. All right, let's,
Not Geraldo.
Okay.
Lopez was canceled, John.
Is Whitney?
No.
Either of the broke girls?
You'd think so, but no. Desperate Housewives with Eva Longoria?
Yes.
That was canceled.
Dos Equis guy.
Oh,
the
yeah,
most
yeah.
interesting man.
That's right. You know what the most interesting thing is about that guy?
What?
His real name is Jonathan Goldsmith.
Yes! Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Sofia Vergara, Modern Family hit show, lead role.
Now, that does not count because she's hot first, Latina second.
But there are still roles.
Yeah. Degrading stuff, stereotype stuff. Latino actors are reduced to hanging out in front of a Home Depot on La Cienega, waiting for a producer to pull up with some day work. Next thing you know, you're playing a house painter who can't do anything right. You said paint the whole house. Aren't the windows part of the house? I'm sorry.
Who paints the windows? It's good writing, but you really brought it to life. It was all right. Forget sitcoms. What about dramatic roles?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Latinos would be lucky to get cast as the second guy killed in some crazy-ass space flick. Don't worry, guys. I'll check out the cave. It's got my legs!
What about Univision, telenovas and stuff like that?
What'd you just say?
What, telenovelas, Univision, the telenovelas?
I don't speak Spanish. I'm fourth generation.
Thank you. Al Madrigal, everybody. We'll be right back. Are you?
The Senate had finally approved comprehensive immigration reform, leaving it up to the House to push it through, which is basically like asking your cat to take care of your goldfish while you're away. Nothing good is going to happen there. So is this bill going to be muerte on arrival?
Today, the Republican Speaker of the House said immigration reform is not dead, even though he appeared to drive a stake through the bipartisan compromise that was passed by the Senate.
Ooh, a stake. So that bill's not dead, it's undead. And actually, that explains why John Boehner has been dressing like Blade lately. Of course, jeopardizing the immigration bill could put some Republicans in a tough spot. Not morally, they truly don't care about that, but much more importantly, politically.
I bet Republicans who are thinking about running for president in 2016 might be worried. The Republicans know they need this. If you want to be president of the United States, you have to do better with Latinos than Mitt Romney did.
You have to do better with Latinos than Mitt Romney? Oh, that is a low bar, my friend. That's like saying, look, I'm just looking for something tastier than Arby's. So will Republicans pay a penalty for obstructing this bill? For the answer, we turn to senior Latino correspondent Al Madrigal. Al, you are Latino. How is the failure of this bill going to affect your vote?
John, that is offensive. You know, I'm so sick of people treating Latinos like some homogenous group that all feel the same way about everything. And you know what? It's even offensive that you'd have me cover this because I'm Latino.
Well, hold on. Whoa. Wait, to be fair, Al, you are the senior Latino correspondent.
Oh, you're right. And I'm also the junior Latino correspondent. You know why? Because I'm the only Latino correspondent on this show, not just now, but also ever, all right? I can't speak for all Latinos. Stop throwing us all together like some sort of Puerto Rico Dominican Tex-Mex buffet, right? Which is not a thing, but it should be because it sounds delicious. See, let me explain. Take a look at this chart. See, these are the top issues for a group I'm referring to as all people. Now, compare that to the top issues for Latino people.
Well, hold on. Al, can we just look at those two charts together? Because that seems to be exactly the same chart.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, ours is in a spicier font, and if you zoom in a little, you'll see ours includes ultimate fighting and pigeon racing.
Okay, yeah. Sure, I get it. But let's be fair just for a second now. Even if there is diversity among Latinos, you guys are still politically identified as one group.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be. That's like lumping all Europeans together. What if I called you Irish?
Hey, that's offensive, that we are very different, and there's also some complicated history between us. We don't look alike, we don't sound alike.
Okay, I mean, what if I said you were exactly the same as the French?
Oh, really? You take that back, or I will cut your face off. Oh, I get it. I get it.
See, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how a Puerto Rican feels when you call him Dominican, or how a Panamanian feels when you call him Honduran. Let me prove it to you. I went out to the street and I spoke to real Latinos about how they feel about other Latinos.
Well, Latinos are all the same except for, you know, like the Mexicans, really. I usually have issues with like Argentinians.
Dominicans and Puerto Ricans don't know how to speak Spanish.
Chileans, man, I don't dig those cats, man. They be eating too much mayo and stuff. I can't be eating with them, you know what I mean?
Chileans love mayonnaise.
Chileans love mayonnaise.
And that's a reason not to like them.
That is a big reason.
I think Guatemalans have a funny name to begin with. And my friend, when he was tiny, he used to say that he was from Guatemala.
Sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying it.
I've
had the same jar of mayonnaise in my refrigerator for like, seriously, 2 or 3 years.
Nah, man, I have a Chilean in there. I'll be gone in 2 days.
What? I gotta tell you, Al, I had no idea the situation was that serious.
Yeah, the Chilean mayonnaise thing is crazy. 3rd per capita in the world for mayo consumption after Russia and the U.S. Clearly, these crazy Chileans think the secret to becoming a world superpower is just eating mayonnaise. Hey, guys, do we need a major industry or a strong military? No, just keep eating the mayonnaise and we'll be #1. Besides, why are we always trapped in these mines? And do we have any fish to eat besides sea bass?
Al, I gotta stop you. That is a little bit offensive.
Yes, and that's my point. That's why it's so frustrating when people say Latinos can't assimilate here in America. They've already got the most important part down, hating Latinos.
So you're saying stopping the immigration bill won't necessarily hurt Republicans because they can just appeal to Latinos on other issues?
Not really. We'll hold a grudge and never forget that. But I do know how Republicans can keep out Chilean immigrants. See, just send them more mayonnaise.
That's true. You people do love your mayonnaise, huh? What? Hey! 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 Hey, relax, relax. Well, just calm down.
You just call me Chilean, Frenchie?
What?